hit record. There we go. All right, welcome everyone. This is your CPO 7 meeting kicking off tonight. Let's see, we've got one major thing on the agenda, and we'll of course start with the announcements from our different providers here up front. So why don't we just get started? Sheriff, Sheriff's office. Does anyone?
Andrew,
how should
can
we
we
start
do
this
the?
out? Sure.
Can we start with the political
of course.
candidates first?
We can mix it up. Sure.
Three. Well, it's on the agenda that way is the interest from candidates first.
Okay.
So we've got three at this point. We've got Kevin Barton, DA. We've got Jen Kinsey and Lisa Reynolds, who are both running for positions, District 34 positions at the state level. So
perfect.
And is Tina Ricks also running for an office? Oh, okay.
Well, why don't we do that then?
Pam Treese is.
That makes sense. All right. Well, why don't we roll into messages first then? Let's try that. Pam, do you want to go first? Do you want to say a few words?
I'll just say a few words that, yes, I'm running for re-election at Washington County District 2. It's been an interesting 4 years. We've all suffered through a pandemic and all sorts of issues, but alongside of doing the work that was necessary as a result of the pandemic, we've also done a lot of work leading our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, making sure that we are recovering from the pandemic, and early on in the pandemic, working with all the different groups to make sure that the needs were being met along the way. It didn't just happen that Washington County was the first to reach 80% of the adult population with their first vaccination. That was a lot of hard work, a lot of coordination with many different groups, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done there. I'm looking forward to a second term. I want to stay focused on our diversity, equity, and inclusion work. I also want to really work hard on climate-related issues. We've got some key issues that we need to be focused on, including the climate strategy in our overall strategy work. So there's other issues, the houselessness issue, continuing our affordable housing work. Those are all things that I can talk about at a later time. But thank you for the time tonight. And it's good to see you all. But also, I'm here for the ESPD levy to make sure that if anybody has any questions about that, I'm here to answer them.
Awesome. Thanks, Pam. Why don't we go, Kevin?
Great. Thanks, Andrew. And before I say anything about myself, I do want to add that the ESPD levy is a very important levy to renew. So I agree with Commissioner Treese wholeheartedly on that. I'm the current district attorney. My name is Kevin Barton, and I'm running for re-election to continue being the Washington County District Attorney. My priority is pretty simple. It's just keeping our community safe. I live in Sherwood, got 3 kids and raising my family here, just like many of you have either done or are doing. And I'm very proud of what we've done here in Washington County. We're the safest large county in the state. Our crime rate's 30% lower than the state average and a whopping 50% lower than Multnomah County. And I'm one of those DAs that's directly involved in the work we do. I've spent my career in the office. On Friday, I was at a homicide scene at the Les Schwab in Hillsborough. So you never know what you're going to get when you go to work in the DA's office every day. But at the end of the day, it's about making sure that we are a safe community. And I'll finish by just listing out a few of my key endorsements. Every single police chief in the county, every single police association in the county, 10 current and former mayors in the county, our Washington County Sheriff Pat Garrett, Governor Kulongoski, Republicans and Democrats. I'm not registered one way or the other, and business leaders like Tim Boyle from Columbia Sportswear, Pat Reeser from Reeser's Foods, the Hillsborough or Washington County Chamber of Commerce. So Thank you for the opportunity to say hello, and I'll throw my website in the chat so you've got that, and I'm happy to speak further offline if anyone has questions. Thanks all.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. Do I have my order right? Tina, would you like to go next? Let's see.
I think I'm just an attendee. I think that somehow I got promoted to panelist, although I'm really not one. So you can take me off if that's what you want to do. Somehow I'm here. Hi, but I'm not really meant to be. So.
Oh, I will. Mary, did I get my order wrong? What are the other candidates here? Lisa and.
So we've got Jen Kinsey and Lisa Reynolds to go.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Perfect. Lisa, would you like to go next?
Great. Hi, thank you all. Thanks for giving me just a few moments here. My name is Lisa Reynolds. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a state legislator and I'm a pediatrician, and I think it's the pediatrician role that that I think makes me probably even most qualified to serve in public office, because I see every day what's working and not working for Oregon families. I am a current state legislator. I was elected in 2020. My district was the west side of Portland. Because of redistricting, I'm now running to serve the chunk of Washington County that includes Cedar Mill, Bonnie Slope, Oak Hills, Bethany, and Five Oaks. And it's been quite a treat to be knocking doors. I'm a Spanish-speaking pediatrician who's worked in Washington County for 25 years, and I'm running into a lot of patients on the doors. They sometimes look a little confused. I'm like, I'm here to check your baby. So it's been really fun. But in the legislature, as you can imagine, I have prioritized child issues. I'm vice chair of the Early Childhood Committee, which is helping shepherd a huge reorganization to better serve families with child care services and to pay child care providers living wages. I'm on the Behavioral Health Committee, which was actually our behavioral health crisis is one of the reasons I chose to run, and that was before COVID. The state is putting record resources into our behavioral health system. We are not seeing the fruits of that labor yet, but I'm working to make sure that happens. And I think my big priority in 2023 will be to make sure that we truly devote new dollars to child behavioral health services, because our behavioral health system, like so many healthcare systems, seems to be a bit top heavy in terms of adult care versus child care. So happy to be here. I'll put my website in the chat too. Would love to answer any questions. You can email me, and if you want to knock doors, as Pam Treese knows, we give a good canvas kickoff. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And anyone else that would like to make a campaign or just a general announcement message?
Jen Kinsey.
Jen, there we are.
Hi, everyone. First off, apologies. I ended up working late. I got a couple of extra cases today, so I am coming to you from my car. I hope that it doesn't count against me too badly. I will say that it is emblematic of how hard I work for Oregonians, and particularly those people in Washington County. I am a public defender. I work with Rydell and Associates on a state contract, and not just public defense, but I specifically do what's called juvenile dependency, which is when kids or parents run into issues and need help from the state. And I see firsthand just how much we need in terms of cooperation, in terms of resources, and truly helping not just parents, but also children. You would not believe the wait times currently for services, and the pandemic has only made it worse. It's caused a lot of people who were invested in our system to stop because it was too much, but also that the regulations and stuff around it and some of the funding has made it so that we don't have as many places available for the people who do need help and want help. The other reason that I am running for District 34, which is my home district, it's where I'm raising my family, is diversity in childcare. So we are in an incredibly diverse district that is nearly 30% Asian. And as the proud mother of a South Asian little boy, I would love to see more affordable childcare options that take into consideration that diversity component, whether that's speaking different languages, eating different food, wearing different things. That is truly a critical piece when we talk about our kids and our childcare. One of the other things that I really want to address in the legislature is related to climate change. And it's that when we talk about, our tax subsidies for our electric programs, so making sure that things are efficient and having subsidies for that, we also need to look at water efficiency because we are on the brink of a huge water crisis. So those are some of the reasons that I am running. And I don't want to talk your ear off all night. I know we have other things to get to, so I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks for stopping by. Anyone else that I missed? Okay. Glad we got everyone in. Appreciate that. All right. Now I think we move on to our service provider announcements. Sounds good. All right. Sheriff's Department.
I'm going to go ahead and
What do you
defer
have?
since we're doing the presentation tonight. I'm going to defer
Fair
and go ahead and let the fire department go ahead. Why don't you guys go?
Tagged in.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is Gennaro Esparza. I'm the fire station captain of Station 68, serving your community. We're located here off of Thompson Road. I've been with the fire district for 23 years. I've been captain of the station for almost a year and a half now. It's been a while since we've had the opportunity, or I've had the opportunity to meet with some of our CPOs and NACs, and so this is my first one in a while. Basically, I just wanted to give out the introduction of who I am, and just let you know a little bit about our station here. We have 4 firefighters on duty 24 hours a day. We have 3 different shifts. We have at least 1 paramedic on each shift. We have 3 specialty vehicles here. Our primary vehicle is a ladder truck. If you've ever seen us out and about, we've got like a tractor with this big trailer and a 100-foot aerial ladder on top. So that's what you see us running around, providing service in your community. We are a truck company, and we also have an engine, a pumper here that carries water and hose and some ladders. And we go back and forth depending on what the situation is. So if we have a fire close by to our station, or there's no other fire equipment available, we will take that vehicle instead. And then thirdly, we have a brush vehicle to be able to mitigate some of the wildland areas that we have in our community. We go up all the way up to Skyline, up by Forest Park. And with that said, we're going to start some of our wildland training next month. It's going to be going on for at least a month and a half to get everybody in the fire district up to speed and get those muscles moving to start going up and down hills and trying to help prevent some of that wildland fire from spreading into your neighborhoods. I just wanted to give you some statistics. So last year, we ran 1,700 calls out of this station. The year before, in 2019, we ran about 1,500. Obviously, a lot of that is due to community growth and the pandemic itself. Just wanted to say also, I'm sure a lot of you already know that our bond passed last year in November. So thank you to all you voters in the community that voted for us. The bond was a $122 million bond. And it was, it's going to replace old debt. So there's not going to be any tax increase whatsoever. And this money is going to be used to replace vehicles that are just tired and old. It's going to replace some of those vehicles in our fleet. We're going to rebuild the King City Fire Station. We're going to make a lot of our stations safer with more security. We're going to expand some of the quarters, living quarters in some of our stations. We're going to relocate the Aloha Fire Station. We're going to be looking for the purchasing land for our future growth. As you know, right now we have some property that we're sitting on that's just north of the Kaiser area in another residential community. So, so thank you very much for helping us pass that bond. And that's all I got for you. Do you have any questions for me?
So as usual, raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question, otherwise, or paste it in chat. Nothing
Okay.
seen. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you very
that.
much. You're welcome, sir.
All right, and I see we have THPRD with us. Would you like to make an announcement?
Hi, yeah, thank you for having me. I do have several announcements, and then I have some follow-up information about a question that I had last time, but I wasn't able to answer it. So I want to be able to be sure to answer that as well. Yeah, just some updates we have for this month include we're hiring. You know, we're really fortunate to be able to be back in a place where we're able to hire, and so we have lots of opportunities available, especially in aquatics, lifeguards, gymnastic teachers. Our swim classes have been greatly reduced by staffing shortage, so we're really trying to get our staff back in business. So if you know someone, if you or you know someone who's interested, we would love to have them apply. We also have summer registration open. In-district registration for summer began on Saturday, April 2nd. Activity guides are online and available in print at any THPRD facility. We also have spring and summer prep underway. So that's like staff are servicing athletic fields, inspecting playgrounds, mowing, cleaning off courts, debris, power washing, turning on drinking fountains. Given the snow that we had today, I'm not sure how that's going to affect a lot of the debris, so that they may have a lot of extra work this week, unfortunately. But we also have a couple other updates here that I think are relevant to you all. We have a RISE program offering youth volunteer experience. So if you know a youth, a teenager, young adult who'd be interested, we're recruiting. RISE volunteers receive an introduction to volunteering with the Park District and are coached in safety, volunteer expectations, customer service, and more. And they gain valuable work experience and earn school community service requirements. And they also have lots of fun. So I encourage you to apply ages 13 plus. And for more information or to apply, you can go to our website. We've got all the info there. Also, a couple other fun things. We've got Easter egg hunts coming up, available at the Conestoga Rec Center on April 9th and also at Cedar Hills on April 16th. You can check out our website for those details. Another new project, big project that's coming to THPRD is called the Downtown Beaverton Parks and Open Spaces Planning Project. And so THPRD is partnering with the city of Beaverton to solicit input from people on what we want for downtown parks and open spaces, natural areas, and recreation activities in Beaverton's downtown. And with all the energy the city has spent in revitalizing downtown over the past 10 years, THPRD is really proud and excited to work with the city and as the area's parks provider to imagine what the community wants, to understand what the community wants and fit into the framework of downtown. So if you're interested in learning about that, we do have a link from our webpage to that project. So you can get involved, share your feedback. We would love that. Okay, two other things that are really important for this group in particular. As you heard, Abbey Creek Park Phase 2 is getting underway. As we launch the second phase of planning and design, we are inviting neighbors to a virtual community presentation, and that's on Thursday, April 21st at 6 p.m. And it's just an opportunity to learn about the project, ask questions, and then find out about more ways to get involved. And so if you're an immediate neighbor or you're anywhere within approximately 1,000 feet from the park, you'll get a mailer. You can also learn more by going to our webpage for that particular project. So those are all the updates. That's a ton of information, but I have one last thing to share. Last time I was here, we had some questions about the future park blocks that are between Bauman and Northwest Lakemont Street, and as well as the property that I think is just immediately west of Northwest 162nd Avenue. Those are both anticipated to begin concept planning in fiscal year 23 to 24. So that's fiscal year 2020, or excuse me, I should say the summer, starting the summer of 2023 into 2024. In that time period, we'll begin the concept planning and community engagement process. We anticipate the construction of the park blocks in 2026, but all of that depends on staff availability and funding, of course, as always. So if anybody has questions about those specifically, again, you can reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. And I'm sorry I took so much time, but if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Perfect. Well, thanks for finding that information too. I appreciate you coming back on that. Thank you. I don't see any hands raised, so thanks. Appreciate you stopping by.
My pleasure.
I also see we have the Water District with us. Any announcements, or would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I'd just like to remind people that it's Dig Safely Month. So we are asking you, if you're a homeowner, before you go out there and dig a big hole to plant a tree or put in a post for a fence or a deck, that you remember to call 811 at least 2 business days before you do that. And for your safety, but also it is really disruptive to have utilities go out, even if they're fiber or internet or any other thing that might be under there. And I'll put a link in the chat of how to contact them. You can do it either through the website or you can call 811. And then just as a reminder, we're actively ramping up the construction of the Willamette water supply program. And I think we have 8 projects active right now, including along 217. We're in there before ODOT does some of their work. We're putting the pipe in so we don't have to dig the road up again. But also just, we'll be really ramping up. I think by the end of this fiscal year, this calendar year, by December, we have over a dozen projects going on at one time. And the bulk of that will be between the Wilsonville intake facility and the Sherwood treatment plant, and then up into the cities of Beaverton, the city of Hillsborough, or the Tualatin Valley Water District system. They each have different entry points into their system, but that's the main driver that's causing your water rates to increase. We'll be starting a rate process to take effect November 1st here in the next few months. I don't have any firm numbers yet, but it's expected to be around the 14% is going to be the proposal for this year's increase. So just wanted to be available here. We'll be back next month, and I'll put my contact information if you have any questions.
Very nice. Appreciate that.
There is a question,
Tina,
Andrew, but I think it may relate to THPRD.
Okay, just to be sure. Well, Tina, you have your hand up. You are welcome to ask away.
You're on mute.
Okay, sorry. My question was for Leanna, actually, with THPRD. This is sort of an area where THPRD and Washington County roads kind of both are affecting the same issue. The Waterhouse Trail, as you probably know, ends at Bronson Road. And then there is a 3/4 of a mile terrifying gap where it goes through an awful intersection before it joins the trail again at Bethany Court. How and who do I talk to try to get safe, protected bike lanes that a responsible parent would feel comfortable sending their 12-year-old to ride in between that gap across the freeway and back over to the trail again at Bethany Court? So it's kind of THPRD and it's kind of Washington County roads where the two systems shake hands. Who do I talk to?
That's an interesting question, Tina. I want to make sure I get I'm looking at the right location on the map. You're talking about where Waterhouse Trail intersects with Northwest Bethany Court, and then I assume goes
over the freeway, on Bethany, over the freeway,
okay,
and then up Bronson Road is where you join the trail again. And,
Got it.
you know, I'm a dreamer. I would love to see a, you know, Dutch style protected infrastructure that a 12-year-old could ride safely to get across the freeway, and make what is truly tremendous bike infrastructure work for everyone and not just for brave and bold adults.
I hear you, Tina. So what I'm going to do, if it works for you, what I'll do is I'm going to make a note. I'm going to talk to our director of, or excuse me, our manager of planning, and then get back to you. Would you feel comfortable? If you feel comfortable just emailing me, you could either I was trying to think how I could get your email. You could email me directly. I put my email in the chat just so I
Okay.
could have your email and then I could follow up with you. Or would you
Sure.
prefer that I report back in this meeting?
But either way is fine.
Okay.
You can email me, or you know, coming back in the meeting is great too. So yeah, put your email in and I'll send you a note.
Okay, great. I am going to drop that at the top of the chat.
So the other issue with that particular crossing is that the Bethany area is now part of Five Oaks Middle School, and that could potentially be a safe route to school. There is a THPRD trail there that goes from that same Bethany Court area to the back of Five Oaks Middle School, except that no parent in their right mind would send their kid to ride across the freeway. So.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you. I think I've got the map pulled up, and I think I have a pretty good idea of where we're talking about, and that'll help me get that conversation started. And then, yeah, if you would send me an email, I just dropped it back in the chat. If you just send me email with your contact information or your
Sure.
contact email, that would be awesome. And then I can get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Leanna,
Tina, I also put in the
Tina-
chat there for you guys too, the land use and transportation reporting tool. You can actually inquire on that as well if there is already any long-term planning for that area, or if they've already done feasibility studies, they can respond back to you as well.
Okay, thank you.
Leanna and Tina, if you include me on the communication, if you include the CPO 7 in the communication, we can then post updates on our Facebook page.
Oh, sure. I'd be happy to.
I'll bet more people than are here have that question. So thanks for asking it. Okay, I think that rounds us out. I think we can move on. Oh, Mary's got her hand up. Mary?
Actually, I have an announcement.
Okay.
There is an upcoming open house, an online open house that's going to begin April 15th on the Salzman Road realignment issue. And you can go on the county website and figure out how to respond to the open house or to enter into the open house. I believe there's actually an opportunity for you to sign up so you get a notice. And if that's too hard to track, you can go to our Facebook page and we'll have information on our Facebook page about how to find that link.
Mary, this is Pam. Melissa DeLizer is also in the meeting. She's an attendee. So perhaps Melissa could put some more information in the chat.
Yeah, I just.
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Melissa?
Sorry, I think we had multiple clicks going on here, but Melissa, I think you should be able to talk.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I gotcha.
Okay, great. I was just putting the correct email in for if you wanted to talk about what we've got developed. The email that was submitted earlier is for requesting a road service like a pothole. So I'm going to be putting the correct email in the chat just as soon as my the website wakes up. So that was all. And yes, the Salzman Road open house does start on Friday morning, and you can go to the online calendar to get requests to get updates on all LUT events. And I'll put that email address in the chat as well once my computer wakes up.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for that. Good announcement there as well about the Salzman Road project. If you have comments, you have interest, then stop on by the online open house and get your voice heard. All right, I think we're ready for our main topic tonight.
All
The
right.
floor is yours.
Thank you. So I've met, I think, quite a few of you before. My name is Cody Harris. I'm in communications and outreach. Brenda, who previously was covering the CPO for the sheriff's office, as I think many of you know, is actually working over at land use now. So she's still with the county, but has moved to a different department. So thank you, Melissa. Good to see you too. Appreciate the correction on that. I will make sure to get that one added as well to my list. And it's really good to see everybody tonight. So I do also have Lieutenant Rawlinson here with us. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen sharing, and just to give you kind of an update of the agenda of what we're going to go over this evening is on the Enhanced Sheriff's Patrol District, who that levy serves, what services that levy provides, the voter impacts, and then we'll wrap up with your questions and then do some patrol updates. So I'm getting my screen all set up. I'll send it over to you, Lieutenant Rawlinson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ed Rawlinson. I'm a patrol lieutenant. I've been at the sheriff's office for 24 years now. I've done a few of these levies over the years, so I'm happy to be here with you. I've had command responsibility for your area, I don't know, for about 2 years now. I've been coming to your meetings, but generally I let the deputies talk. They have a little better boots on the ground answers to some of the questions you guys ask. So I'm always available. I work at the Bethany substation off the Bethany Boulevard, and I'll make sure to put my contact information in the chat before we leave too, if you have questions after this today. So we're excited to meet with you and give you some information about our upcoming levy. So looks like it's mine now. Yeah,
go for it.
I got to move the little screen around on this. So I have a very tiny work computer, so I can't see very well. So basically, ESPD is one of the few things at the sheriff's office that's been there longer than I have. It's been around since 1987. Actually, the sheriff was one of the original ESPD hires. And the point of it is to provide urban level services of law enforcement to folks in the ESPD area. And so it used to be, as a traditional sheriff's office, we had a very rural footprint, which is about a half an officer per thousand of population, and the cities generally have about a 1 officer per thousand level of service. And so as they started to notice the unincorporated parts of our county were growing, Aloha, Bethany, some of the Metzger, some of those areas, someone had the foresight to sort of establish this in lieu of the cities annexing us at the time, the different neighborhoods. I live in Aloha myself. And so this was an effort to give the same level of service in those neighborhoods as they grew over the years. And so it actually kind of doubled the size of the sheriff's office when it first happened. And it is based on adapting to growth. Like there's a built-in mechanism to grow with the population in these levies. And so the levy has been approved continuously for about 30 years now. And so it's a five-year levy. And again, it's just to keep our level of service comparable to what you would get in a city in our area and living in an urban environment. So a little different than they get in the rural areas you get in ESPD areas.
So with that, who receives that enhanced sheriff patrol district coverage would be, if you look at the larger map of all of Washington County, the Washington County Sheriff's deputies, they do patrol and we do cover the entirety of the county. But if you look in that smaller circle there, you can see that there is also some white areas that outside of those gray and gold areas, and those are our municipal partners. So think like Beaverton Police Department, Hillsborough Police Department, Forest Grove, King City, Tigard. But in those urban unincorporated areas, that's going to be that gold area. And that's when the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District, or ESPD, covers. And so those are those urban level coverage, so that instead of 0.5 deputies, that would be 1 deputy per 1,000. And so those cover those Bethany, Cedar Hills, Metzger, Raleigh, all those urban locations. So if you think about the county as being over 600,000 people living here in Washington County, 214,000 live in that Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District area, which unto itself would be a third larger than any other service area in the county. So it's a big area that is covered by this. And you, more than likely, if you're in the CPO 7, are part of that Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District.
And one of the things that people get confused about, we hear a lot, is especially up in your neck of the woods, is people have Portland mailing addresses. So sometimes they think they live in Portland, but they actually live in Washington County, and there's a little piece of Portland in Washington County, but it's on the sort of the Metzger side. So everybody north of Highway 26 in our county is basically part of ESPD. And so what the levy provides primarily is rapid response to 911 calls. We have, like I mentioned, we have a Bethany substation up in your area, which allows us to station deputies up there to get to calls quicker, as well as our staffing overall. A few years back, we started a mental health response team to pair a deputy with a clinician and give us some tools to better help them mentally ill in a time of crisis, and help them get to the right resources. And that's been going on, well, I guess it's been going on for 12 years. Time flies. And so we do a high emphasis on de-escalation training. That goes through, we do what's called confrontational simulation, which is basically scenario based training. And there's a lot of de-escalation built into that. We've been doing that for some time, specifically to folks in crisis. And some of our special teams, like the mental health team that you see in the picture there, our crisis negotiation unit. And recently we started having a HOPE deputy, which is to help with homeless outreach. And it's the main purpose is to help those folks and get them the right resources and help them the right way. So the HOPE team is new and is trained. Those folks are getting extra training to work directly with those folks that are impacted by houselessness and the encampments that we run into occasionally in our county. And so they do respond to the law enforcement piece, but also do risk assessment and conduct training and partner with our other agencies in the county for outreach. The main piece is that policing similar to what you would get in a city. You also see some mention of we've seen some increase in fentanyl and some of that sort of thing. So our WIN team, our deputies, we all carry Narcan now to help with overdoses as well. So sometimes we get there before medical does, and we can help those people when they're struggling. Go to the next one.
So with this proposed levy, as Lieutenant was saying, it's been around for over 30 years, but every 5 years that levy goes down up for renewal or needs to be replaced. In this case, we're replacing this levy. It expires in June of 2023. So getting it on the ballot now helps us to do budgetary planning, whether it passes or does not pass. This is to continue the same enhanced support of level of law enforcement that we currently have. So it is not to increase it, it's not to decrease it, it's to maintain the same level we currently are providing. And with that, so again, just keep in mind that this will come up again in another 5 years. But right now we're just a little ahead of the game trying to get it on the ballot to get it so we can budget accordingly.
So the positions that are supported by the levy is actually a pretty good chunk of our patrol division. It provides deputies, which are the first line folks. Those are the ones that come out to your house when you have an emergency or you just want to call and get some assistance with something. Our corporals are a little more advanced. We use them as uniform investigators, also kind of assist with running the road. Our sergeants are our frontline supervisors. Lieutenants are folks like me, and each of us has a command area that we're responsible for, sort of a concept of the chief of the beat. In other words, I'm responsible for what happens up in Bethany, and that's my area of command. And so it also pays for our criminal records specialists, which are exactly what they sound like, folks that will help you get copies of police reports and track things that were going on. They also maintain warrants, provide some public services such as the accounting for the jail inmates, posting bail, things like that, paying fees for concealed handgun license, alarm permits, etc. Our program and communication education specialists, that's folks like Cody who help us come out and inform you to what we're doing and liaison with the community, and as well as our administrative support, which is like any organization of our size, a real backbone. Really, we couldn't do a lot of what we do without them as far as scheduling and paperwork and things like that.
So if it was to pass, here's the important piece that most of us, right, are going to look at. It's, you take a look at your property taxes. If you currently have a property in the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District, you'll be able to see that it's currently set at a 68 cent per $1,000 of assessed value. We are going to go ahead and propose that it's a 15% increase over the current rate, which would bring it up to an 83 cent per thousand assessed value. Now, I really want to emphasize the assessed value in this market, and looking at current market rates, it is not that market value, it is the assessed value. So with that, the average assessed home in the district is at about 321,000. So on that assessed value, the current estimated first year would be about $266 annually, or $22 estimated a month for that basic assessed value. So the great thing again about how it's structured is that due to future tax years, it would change and adjust that assessed value, but so would it based on the population. So if another 4,000 housing units are developed and brought into a community or area, that population increase and that tax base with the assessed value of those homes increases the enhanced sheriff patrol to bring the level of deputy coverage, that 1 per 1,000, up to that level with the growth automatically. So again, it's not the market value, it's the assessed value. That's the big one on that one. But you can definitely see the current line item on your current tax report. And if you are already in the district, then this will automatically show up on your ballot too.
So the counter, obviously, that is what happens if it doesn't pass. And so the levy is a replacement levy. And so if it didn't pass, essentially you would save the $211, $18 a month on your average assessed value. Our law enforcement service would be cut down to more what you have in a rural environment, which is about half. And that's 119 of our just over 200 deputies positions would potentially be cut. And so pretty significant impact on our ability to patrol in your area.
So just to recap and in summary, this would replace the 5-year levy expiring June of 2023, which maintains the current level of services in the district. It provides funding for staffing at those current levels, which allow us to have a rapid response to 911 calls, which is nearly half the time of the national average. Advanced training in crisis intervention and de-escalation, in addition to our mental health response team, our HOPE deputies for homeless outreach programs and engagement, as well as helping address public safety response to increase overdoses around Xanax, Oxycontin, fentanyl, and other drugs in our community. But past or not, our goal will always remain to do our best with whatever funding we have available for our community. And I'd like you to open it up to any questions. I'm going to stop sharing. I see there's a couple of things in the chat. So,
oops.
Perfect. Oh, okay. And I'm also going to put a handout link in the chat for the Enhanced Sheriff Patrol District. That basically gives you additional links for each of those topics that we talked about. So if there's a particular topic, you can either ask questions here, or if you want to dig into those topics a little bit more, you can click on links for the mental health response team, for our One Pill Can Kill campaign, you name it. Any questions?
Awesome. That was fantastic. Thanks for doing that. I see one hand from Melissa, and let's see. So I don't know if Melissa wanted to ask a question, and then I see Dawn as well. Dawn, you should be able to speak if you'd like to ask.
Now I guess you can hear me.
Yes, we got you.
Okay. I'm just curious as to what kind of risk there is of this not passing. I'm definitely a strong supporter, and I've lived in the county just a little longer than the districts exist. But I'm just curious as to how well is it done in the past, and is there any risk of it not passing, or a significant risk?
Well, I would say there's always a risk. We never know. We don't want to take it forever for granted. It has passed. It's been continuous for 30 years. That's how I'll answer that. So, and the last time we did it, I think we had a 70% approval rating. That was not. No, I'm sorry. That was the LOL levy. I think that was 70%. That was a couple years ago. No, Pam's shaking her head at me like it was the ESPD, which was 4 or 5 years ago. But traditionally, it's been very supported by the community. I'll say that. So, we have two different levies. We have a local option levy and an ESPD levy, and they alternate back and forth. And so sometimes I get one confused with the other. So thank you, Pam, for keeping me on point there. I got a little confused, but it feels like we're doing these constantly. I mean, we don't want to ever take it for granted. So we want to educate people, and we want to let you know that we're your service provider. And then we value the community being able to say whether they want to continue to support us or not. I think it's important to us to put that out there. Unlike in a lot of cities where it's just up to sort of the city government, you guys get to decide if we're doing a good enough job by doing these elections. And so I guess we'll find out. I'm optimistic, of course, but
I also put in there too the ESPD funding services link, and that breaks it down a little bit further. And I also, the second link I put in there, I was trying to find the shorter one, but is our when you go to our homepage, you can look up to see who patrols my neighborhood. So if you're not sure, if you have that Portland address, or you think you're on the borderline and you're not quite sure if you're going to land in this, you can see right there on the map. It tells you who patrols your neighborhood just by putting in your address and looking up that location. But Pam, go ahead.
Well, thank you. And special thanks to Cody and Ed. You did a great job. There's a lot of information, and it's a lot to put forward. So I thank you. And Dawn, I thank you for your question. That's a critical question. And I would agree with Ed that there's always a risk. And as we face inflation and all the other issues that we're facing, we worry a lot about this. So all of your help in terms of spreading the word is greatly appreciated. There's no question. My district, District 2, is almost all urban unincorporated Washington County. So this is really important to me, and to continue the service level that I know the constituents in my area really want. So making sure we get out the vote, making sure that we've educated people about this is really important. And if you have any questions you'd like to ask me individually, happy to answer them. I can also be reached through the county. But again, special thanks to the two of you for the presentation. And Dawn, thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you, Commissioner Chase. If there's not any particular questions, we can definitely give a little bit of an update for the area too, and also just kind of post-COVID updates if that's of interest.
Yeah, I don't see any other hands. I think that was pretty comprehensive. So yeah,
well,
that'd be great.
I'll go ahead and jump in first and just give you a couple of public safety updates. That's one of the main parts of my job. Do a lot of internet safety training for parents, neighborhood watch. But one of the things that we're currently reminding people, it is tax season, which means definitely be watching your mailbox. Mailbox thefts always increase across our country every year right around tax season. So as those checks start coming in the mail. So definitely you can look into informed mail delivery, but keep in mind the IRS will only send things in the mail. So if you get a text, a phone call, or an email saying they're the IRS, they are not. They never will be. They will only contact you by mail. So definitely, that whole theory of that, if you're just not sure, hang it up or delete and find another route to confirm to avoid being scammed. So that's a big one. The Sheriff's Showcase is still our virtual option for kind of getting an inside look at the Sheriff's Office. And that starts live on Facebook again Wednesday night. And our Power Curve is back virtual. Hopefully the next time it'll be in person, but I will get both of those in the chat while Lieutenant Rawlinson fills us in on some more patrol updates.
So one of the big things that we've been hearing about lately is catalytic converter thefts, and that's been kind of going around the county. I haven't seen a ton of it up in our area, but it definitely has happened. I will tell you that that's been a cyclical crime over the course of my career, because we eventually find out who does it and put them in prison, and then it goes away for a while. And so I think we're pretty close to resolving that, working with some other agencies. I can't really get into it much more than that, but we are aware of it, and it is something we're working pretty hard at to resolve. And I think we're getting close on that. And so the main thing in your neck of the woods is really like making sure you don't leave valuables in your car and closing your garage door, especially as it gets nicer and the days are longer. People really have a habit of leaving the garage door open, and then they end up having things stolen out of the garage. And we really want to, I know we talk about this all the time, but it happens all the time. So you're probably not necessarily the audience that needs to hear it every month, but if I can get one person to close their garage door, that would be awesome. And I will plead guilty to having done it myself sometimes in the middle of the night, coming home from ice hockey, and I forget to close it. So it happens. But I think Tina has her hand up. Do you have a question, Tina?
Yeah, I was curious about the catalytic converter thefts. I have a friend in Oak Hills who had her catalytic converter stolen a few weeks ago. Is there any effort on your part in terms of law enforcement to go after the places that are buying the catalytic converters?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably can't talk about it.
I can't get into that too much, but I'm optimistic that we're making real progress on that.
Okay.
So
excellent. Thank you.
I don't want to like go too far on that. So yes, that's where the big part of the problem is, right? Is stopping that market, just like any other business, so to speak.
And the hopeful piece too is that surrounding states will also pass the same legislation that Oregon passed about those controlled metals. So hopefully that other states, those purchasers will start to be on the same level as our Oregon purchasers of those too. So
okay, thank you.
Very nice. Yeah, thanks for those updates. I think that's, let's see. Yeah, I think that's our main agenda. So I appreciate you stopping by and informing us on this issue. And I think that'll do it for the night. I appreciate everyone's time and thanks for coming.
Thank you, everybody.
Just as a reminder, we'll roll into our steering committee meeting right after this. And I think with that, I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
I have one more announcement. CPO 1 tomorrow night is having a candidates forum, and they have like absolutely everybody on the ballot for our area. So if you didn't get your fill tonight, you are encouraged and invited to attend the CPO 1 meeting, and the link to the Zoom meeting was available in our agenda this month. So check your agenda.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Good catch. Good night, everyone. All right.